we've seen, I guess, more of you in the slot. Is that safe to say? And you know, what do you think about that move?
Yeah, I've been playing a little bit more slot this training camp so far. I like the move, especially because you get a little taste of every position, inside, outside. And with the new coaching staff, they want to see where guys can shine in different positions, and that's a good thing because if you never go inside, you never know if you're good at it or not. So so far I've been real comfortable playing there, real comfortable obviously playing outside because that's where I've been playing in the past, and learning the plays and going out there and executing it from each position helps a lot too. When it's real game time, then you're real comfortable wherever you end up.
It seems like Nick has been very vocal, especially with the receivers. How receptive do you think you guys have been to that criticism, or maybe not criticism, but that instruction during practice?
Oh, very receptive. I mean, attention to detail is a big thing that he's been preaching. Within the route, before the route, after the route, catching the ball, tucking it. Every phase of the route gets coached. We've been very receptive to it, and you can never hear a coaching detail enough if you don't do it right. And he's definitely a coach that will stay on you until you get it right, and then when you get it right, stay on you some more. So when we're playing out there for real, we don't even think twice about it. It's all automatic. Has been a good thing so far. You can tell day by day we've been improving on just the little details and the route concepts and the route details and everything.
What's your mindset in this camp? Is it, hey, this is a fresh start for me, and hey, I'm in the slot more. I can produce a little bit more here. It's a fresh start.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me is just being myself. In the past, I feel like I've been trying to just be a lot at once. Show that I can do this, show that I can do that, prove this and that. Just going back to the basics, going back to what helped me out in college, and just being great at the things that require no talent. And letting the talent take over when it's time for the talent to take over, and not the opposite. Not trying to show everybody how talented I am and do this and that, and then next thing you know, I'm being somebody I'm not. So that's been the biggest thing personally that I've kind of taken the approach to this camp.
So JJ, when did that kind of click for you? When would you say that you kind of figured that out, and that was the way you were going to move forward?
I took a lot of time to reflect over the summer and over this off season and say, well, what worked for me at Stanford? At what point did it kind of start to turn over for me? And I started realizing, my first year at Stanford, I didn't play. I was redshirted. First couple of weeks, I didn't play, but I remember at some point I told myself, just be great at the things that require no talent, and then let the talent take over when there's time for the talent to take over. And that's just kind of what I've been thinking about all offseason is that, what was the deciding factor? What was the turning tide in college that got me from point A to point B, then to point C, and then here? Then I just told myself, why not do it again? It worked once. Why not go back to doing, what got me here in the first place? And so far, it's been a lot of fun. Going out there every day has been a lot of fun. Going out there making plays, going out there with the guys, with this new coaching staff. It's just, football. It's just out there, going out there having fun at the end of the day.
When you talk about talent, that sounds like something we've heard from Nick up here. Is that something that he's relayed to you? That type of what you said about talent?
Wait, you repeat it? Sorry.
When you were talking about talent and letting your talent take over Stanford, it seemed like something we've heard from Nick as well. Is that safe to say? And is that kind of resonating with you as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that you do hear a lot as a player is, you just let your talent take over, but you got to, be great at the things to be great at. And it's easy to hear it over and over and over, but, Coach Nick, he gets that message across, and it's like, we're all here for a reason. We all can make that super nice diving catch. We all can make, this guy miss, make that guy miss, run 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, but at the end of the day, what separates you from the next guy is being great at the things that require no talent. And whether it's blocking, running a guy off when you're supposed to get your teammate open, picking up your teammate when he gets hit so he doesn't have to use extra energy to get up, celebrating with your teammates. It's the little things that make a difference. And he's preached that, and not only does he preach it, he shows us what that can do, what the difference in those little details can have between winning and losing a game.
Coaching staff and presumably the new scheme. How is that different for you, and how does that fit your skill set?
You know, we're still in the thick of training camp. They're still trying to get a feel for us. We're still trying to get a feel for them. But the good thing that's been going on a lot, you know, within these walls is we've been connecting very well with each other, getting you know, learning from each other, you know, learning what each other like, don't like, what we can do well and not well, and going out there and just, you know, putting it to the test. Does this work? Does this not work? All right, it doesn't work. How can we make it better? All right, it worked. How can we make that better? You know, the play doesn't work. All right, move on to the next play. You know, move on to the next play. We'll come back in and correct whatever we got to correct. You know, it was still in the meat of training camp, you know, but at the same time, there has been a lot of improvements going on, and I'm excited to see where we can take this going forward.
What caused your perspective to change these past 2 years?
I mean, just, you know, do a lot of self-reflection. Sometimes you got to be real with yourself and say, you know, I got to sacrifice this, I got to sacrifice that, but at the end of the day, like, what works, you know? Oh, you hear this guy do this, I'm going to do this. Like, maybe that doesn't work for you, you know? Oh, this guy wants to do this and it didn't work for him, so I'm not going to do it. Well, maybe that works for you. You know, just having a lot of self-reflection, a lot of time to, you know, kind of look at yourself in the mirror and say, all right, I know this worked for me in the past, so I'm going to do this over and over and over until it doesn't work anymore. And then next thing you know, it's training camp and you got to go put it all together.
Do you feel you're in a better place mentally this year than, I mean, as far as dealing with pressure, dealing with all the extraneous things around? I mean, you just feel...
Yeah, I mean, I never really, you know, felt that from the first place. It's just, I think the biggest thing, kind of what I hinted towards earlier, is just like my mentality and how to attack and approach things this year. It's just changed. And, you know, like my college coach always told me this, like, you never get worse, or you never stay the same. You either get worse or you get better. And I took that to the next step and say, well, how do I get better every day? And that's, you know, changing things here and there, getting back to what works that makes you better and better, instead of keep doing the same thing over and over and it not working. You know, changing that and, you know, moving forward.
When you look at the competition in the wide receiver room, I mean, you know, obviously they have a bunch of speed guys and everything. Do you feel like you have certain skills that kind of stand out from the other guys? And if so, like what, you know, how do you see that?
I mean, we all. I think the good thing about this wide receiver core is that we all have special skill sets that have worked in the past and that work right now, and we complement each other off of it. I'm not going to get too much into details of what I do better or what so and so does better, but I think right now we just got a great mix of guys that, you know, are each individually talented and super talented at certain things, and, you know, when we go out there, we put it all together. And like I said, this training staff, we've been connecting with them very well, and, you know, the coaching staff has been very detail-oriented to where it's like, you know, it picks up one side that's not as good and lifts it up, and then now, you know, you just get better overall as a player and as a group. And, yeah, that's what I'm excited to see when we're done.
Sorry, when you talk about Nick and how specific he is with how routes are run, is it more just how they want to, you know, how it's designed and where you need to be, or does it also, you know, what, you know, how when a route is open to interpretation based upon the read, do they drill you as much on that as well?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we talk about just every aspect of being a successful, you know, pass catcher, from tight ends to running backs to receivers. It's not really necessarily one thing that they do. I think we touch on just about everything that you can touch upon, and, you know, everybody's dialed in and everybody gets better. You know, if one person makes a mistake, then we all learn from it. If one person does something real well, we all learn from it, and, you know, try to apply that to our game. And it's just a lot of good chemistry going on in that room right now.
How much different is it to have a head coach that played the position in college, coached the position? Is there a big difference? Does he place more emphasis on you guys? Have you noticed anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you got somebody who plays the position, you know, they understand, you know, things that go on the field. You know, they see why you did this or why you did that. They can correct it more on, like, I guess, a personal level, because they've probably been in those shoes before, and that goes with really any you know, any position. Like if you got a guy that's been in there and been in that situation, then you can relate and understand each other more often. But even still, there's some guys that haven't played the position that understand the position very well. I just think we got a lot of bright minds in that room right now, and we're all learning from each other.
You got a new coach and a new scheme, but Aaron's back. Has that been helpful?
You mean like Aaron being back? Yeah, I mean, we all connected last year. We all built a lot of chemistry with each other last year. The guys that were here, and even the new guys that have come in, they come in, and I don't want to speak for them, but I feel like we've accepted them, and they've been like, incorporated into our family right off the bat. And that's the biggest thing, when we go out there as a group, we want to go out there and shine together. You're going to have a guy that shines individually from day to day. This guy did this guy did that. Wow, Hightower had an incredible catch today. The next day it could be somebody else. But one thing for sure is that we're all banking on each other, to have individual and collective success. Because one man's success is leads to another play. It's like, all right, Hightower just caught that pass down the field. Like, we got the momentum going. Next thing you know, Ward can go out there and catch a great pass, and I go get a great pass, then Schmitty, and then it's like, wow, like, look at this whole group of receivers. But it all starts, with that spark play, and that's what we kind of tell each other. It's like, let's go make that spark play and get everybody going. And that's one of our goals this year, is to be that group, to provide that for this team, along with a lot of other goals.
JJ, you said that part of the key is finding what works for you. What do you find works for you?
When you get into the NFL, you get introduced to a lot of things. Long list of things. It's like, oh, this guy does this guy does that. I don't want to get into it because everybody kind of does their own thing. You hear this and you hear that, and you want to go and try it for yourself. Honestly, the biggest thing that I probably changed this offseason was just taking care of my body, not going out there and emptying the gas tank every day. Because, you hear, oh, this guy works super hard and that's why he is who he is. And it's like, I got to go do that, Then you run into other issues. And it's like, my body's not used to doing that, or doing, certain movements or certain workouts or certain drills. So then I just kind of honed in and was like, all right, what worked for me in college? I called my college strength coach and was like, what worked for me in college? Like my plan, what was my plan? And he gave me my plan from college, and he was like, listen, just do that. Just do that, because that's what you did in college, and that's who you became, who you are. And that's basically what I did. I did that plan that we had set from when I was a sophomore in college, and I feel like at that moment I grew every year more and more and more. Got better and better and better, and basically mimicked like every day what I did in college. Like, I think we had like 2 afternoon practices, well, not player-led practices, like early morning workouts, drills on these days, conditioning on these days, and then eventually you lead up to the season, and that's basically what I did, and just didn't stray away from that.
What kind of growth have you seen from Jalen Hurts, year 1, rookie quarterback, to year 2, guy who's sort of trying to take control of this team?
Yeah, no, he's had tremendous growth. He definitely become that leader. We all kind of saw it from the beginning when he got here, was he had like a little leadership, persona in him, and he's definitely taking that role to the next level. We have all the confidence in the world in him, and he's been out here balling, throwing some great passes, making some great checks. Just being that leader, that the quarterback should be. And it's exciting to see how much he's grown and how much he's still growing, and definitely excited to see where we can go with this year.
Getting back to your college routine, do you feel like you come into camp a little more confident, or is that not really an issue for you? Or
Yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't like a confidence thing at all. It's more of like a comfortable thing. It's like, I feel comfortable out here. I feel like, I'm back to myself. Years past, like I said, I've done like things like, I heard this guy did this, so I got to do this. I got to do that. This is what worked for him, so it's got to work for me, right? And then, just like I said, it has a lot of self-reflections. Like, I'm just gonna go back to doing what I did, what worked for me in college, stick to that, and then build off of that instead of straying away from what got me here in the first place.